from the evidence we have, does Ron Wyatt's discoveries of Noah's Ark look to be true? Can you expand on the evidence for or against? Well, Francois and I went to Armenia, and I'm going to let him speak. But before I continue with this question, Ron Wyatt doesn't only claim to have found the Ark. What else did he find? He also found the Ark of the Covenant. There are many claims that he has made, and he's no longer with us, and I don't want to speak ill. But we have to be very, very circumspect before we run after every wind of doctrine and discovery. Now I'll just talk about one before I give Francois the Ark. And that is the Ark of the Covenant. He claims that he crawled into one of those tunnels which are everywhere in Jerusalem, and that he found under Golgotha the Ark of the Covenant. And when the blood of Christ dripped from the cross during the earthquake, the earth split open and drops fell onto the Ark of the Covenant. Then he took some of those drops and he had them analyzed, and there was no Y chromosome. So he didn't have an earthly father, was the conclusion. And then they'll show you the lab reports of what happened. Now, I have serious problems with that. I have biological problems, I have theological problems, and let's just talk about them. He was made altogether such as we are. That means he had a Y chromosome. And he was a male, right? Because according to the scripture, he was circumcised on the 8th day. So he must have had a Y chromosome, otherwise how was he circumcised? God could have kept the blood there miraculously for 2,000 years. I mean, we find Tyrannosaurus Rex blood intact today. So let's give him that. But now look at the typology. The death on the cross. What was the typical feast which it represented? It was the Passover. Question, was the blood of the Passover lamb ever sprinkled onto the Ark of the Covenant? No. So God wouldn't violate his own typology to satisfy Ron Wyatt. So I'm afraid I have to reject that theology on a biological level and on a typological level. That brings us to the Ark. Francois, what do you say?
This man is an embarrassment for this church. No, not
Me?
him. We checked every statement and not one is correct. Loretta and myself went to Ararat and we look at the geological structure of a ship, but there's nothing. So please forget about Ron Wyatt. Not one of his statements can be proved. It's sensation from start to finish. Some of us talked to the man and said, you know this is not the truth, but he just very stubborn, like some of us, and he went ahead. So ignore it, it's sensational, it's not scientific. That's all I want to say, Walter.
Well, one more point. I spoke to some of his personal followers who actually waited in the desert for him to reveal what he had said, what he would be next. I'm not going to go there. They waited in vain. They waited in vain. Stick to the facts.